Ek du bel. You have previously discussed two big catalysts for your departure from the church in 2012, the intense push for fundraising and ideal orgs, and the fact that you were required to tell so many lies in the normal course of your daily life. Were there any other points during your years in the Church of Scientology that you seriously considered leaving, but ultimately chose to stick it out? Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. There were definitely earlier times, and in fact, the actual beginning of the story for me leaving Scientology actually goes back 10 years before I actually did it. It took that long for me to get through the various things I needed to get through to come to the point to kind of overcome all the previous years of, I don't know, brainwashing, I guess, to get to the point where I wanted to and could take the mental and physical initiative to step out, and that was in in the later years in 2014, so 2013. So prior to that, go back 10 years, 2003, I was in the Sea Org and I was in management, and I had been actually sent out on a special project. I'd gotten myself, sent out on this project to go down to San Diego, the church down in San Diego, and I was down there for 3 weeks. And without getting into all the specifics of it, let's just say that I pulled off a really miraculous project, a very successful project. We hired 20 auditors for San Diego's organization. And I was the impetus that made that happen when I went down there. At the beginning, there was no idea that was ever going to happen, couldn't be done, no way. It had been a target from Miscavige for years to get that done in all the orgs. It wasn't going anywhere. I went down to San Diego and, by hook or by crook, we did it. It was a great thing. It was very, very, everybody was very excited. There wasn't any yelling and screaming going on. It was actually a really, really good thing. And I came back to Los Angeles. I actually got called back to LA, days before we finished the 20. We were on like 18. And I was like, what do you mean you want me to come back? But anyway, they called me back there. And it was such a successful action. It was such an amazing thing to have made that happen in the world of Scientology, from a management perspective, because, in the management world, it's a rat race. It's a hamster wheel that just goes round and round and round. And I'd already been doing this for 8 years and no real progress of any kind. So to go down in 3 weeks and pull this off was a big deal. When I went back, I did a whole write-up, hours typing up this whole thing of what we did, how we did it, what a good thing it was. And this got sent out to the other churches in the Western United States that we were managing. And within 2 days, orders came down from above, not from Miscavige, but actually from the ILO, from the LRH Communicator Int, if that means anything. Basically a senior person up above, but not senior like Miscavige senior, lower than that. But basically this order came down, cancel all of Shelton's write-ups, and that is not what you're to do. And what you're to do is push, what they said specifically was push 339R. And all that means is, it's a mantra. It's a window dressing. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, in other words, if you had a successful sales force or a successful salesman who pulled off an amazing thing in some company, let's say it's some sales company, this guy pulls in $1 million account, and he tells everybody how he did it, and so that they can do it. And then the order comes down from on high. No, you're not, don't pay any attention to what Perkins did. Screw Perkins. Perkins doesn't know what he's talking about. You're to follow our sales mantra, which is do the best you can. And that's pretty much the meaning of do 339R. It's like do the best you can. Like there's no substance to saying that. It's just something that was repeated over and over and over. It was just a mantra. So I watched that happen, and I was very upset about that because nobody had been pulling off. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I'm just saying that I did something that was pretty amazing. And then I wasn't trying to take a bunch of glory for it. I was trying to get the rest of the churches to pull that off by doing what we had done, because I knew if I could do it in San Diego, we could do it anywhere. And then that got canceled, and that was very devastating to me, because it made me realize all at once, after 8 years of this, it made me realize that nobody wanted us to get out of the hamster wheel. We weren't supposed to do better. We were just supposed to be this bureaucratic hamster wheel. This like, we're just going to run around in circles, and here comes the latest order, and it's, oh my God, and do it now, and oh my God, and it must be done within 3 days, so everybody has to stay up all night. And this rat race that is Scientology management just was going on and on. And it just dawned on me that nobody wanted that to change. That wasn't what was wanted. We weren't there to get the orgs bigger. We weren't there to make them succeed. And that, you could say, was the beginning of the light turning on. Like, oh. And it didn't hit me all at once. It was more like just this little dim light turning on that eventually got, over the years, got brighter and brighter, until I eventually saw, that this was really a losing game, that there was no win possible in this game. It was rigged. It was a rigged game, and we were never going to win. And when I saw that totally clearly, I'm embarrassed. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but, not happy that it took me 10 years to get to that point where I realized that this was just never going to work. But that was the point that it started. And between that point and me leaving, a lot of things happened. I mean, I did the RPF, that whole thing, and then the ideal orgs, and then the money, and like all these things built, but they all built on that beginning point where I saw this was just not. It wasn't. We weren't doing what we were told we were supposed to be doing. That's not what was happening. So there you go.